girl Jasmine, and I'm back for another video. So today we're going to continue our installment with my freshman month collaboration with other HBCU vloggers. And so today, since we did a story time, I wanted to lighten it out and give you guys some insight and something that I really genuinely feel like is something that you guys need and will be helpful. And that is how to get the perfect schedule possible. And you don't want to be stuck with crappy classes. You don't want to be stuck and end up taking classes that you weren't supposed to take, that weren't part of your curriculum, and it's setting you back a semester. You don't want any of that to happen. So if you follow this video, you will be on track to graduate as fast as possible if you follow my track. So if you guys are interested on how to get the perfect schedule and how to register for classes, then just keep watching. Okay, so I wrote down like a whole list of steps and stuff. So if I'm looking down and looking at this, kind of wrote everything down. I just recently registered for classes for my fall 2017 semester, so I thought why not do something, that I just recently did that you guys are going to be doing very soon at your orientations. So to start off, you guys all have advisors, and so it's kind of like a trickle down thing. You have to go to your advisor to get your pin and go over what classes you're gonna take, and they'll tell you yes or no and pretty much things like that. So to register for classes, I recommend that you do things before you go meet your advisor, because some advisors just get flustered with having 5 million different students. It might steer you in the wrong direction, you know what I mean? So before you go to your advisor, it is best that you guys look at your curriculum guide, the guide that kind of tells you what classes you need to take to graduate. So every major and every minor has a specific curriculum guide that comes with it. It might be labeled something different, but I'll have a picture of A&T's curriculum guide and my curriculum guide for my major and my concentration. So this is my curriculum guide. It's right here, and I'll have a picture of it as well. And so my first step is to go pick your major, find your curriculum guide, go through it, see what classes you're going to take. And when you're going through it, if you have taken dual enrollment or AP or anything like that, cross off all classes that you have already taken, because there is no need for you to take it over again, because you already should receive credit from your school and from their transfer credit articulation. They should already have gotten your classes and told you yes or no if they cancel out for any certain classes. So this right here is all of the classes that I have taken. I highlighted them out. So I have these classes, pretty much all these classes. I pretty much have all of my general education classes out the way. And I did that in high school when I was in dual enrollment. So if you guys want a little more detail on dual enrollment and things of that nature, then to let me know down below, and I can do a separate video talking about just straight dual enrollment. So I took a lot of classes when I was in high school at my community college. And then a lot of these I even took here. So I just crossed out everything. So this is about 53 credit hours. So technically I am a sophomore credit wise. So once you go ahead and cross all those classes off your list, it's time to go through, if you have any classes to cross off. But for my example, and for you guys to understand clearly, I'm going to go off of you guys not having any classes at all. This will be the first college class you ever take. So if that's the case, then you have no classes to cross off. So now it's time to pick your 12 to 15 credit hours. I say 12 to 15 because most schools, they require 12 credit hours to be a full-time student. And you have to live on campus, you have to be a full-time student. So that's why I say 12 to 15. 12 to 15 is about 5 to 6 classes, depending on the credits. You might have a 4 credit hour class. I know at A&T, biology is a 4 credit hour class because it requires a lab as well. So for your first semester, according to if we're just going to go off an example, so we're going to go off of the public relations curriculum guide for this example and for the whole video. So according to the public relations guide, it says, and I'll have a picture of it as well, it says that you're supposed to take in your first semester as a freshman, you're supposed to take biology 100, English 100, freshman studies 100, either history 103, 106, or 107, and then a HPED elective, which is a health and fitness education department elective, and then math 101. So if you've never taken any classes at all, you should just follow this curriculum guide, verbatim. Like, don't steer away from it, don't go away from it, like just stick to it. I also kind of recommend that you guys kind of go and take all of your general education classes first. I only say that because general education classes are not classes that are what you're going to school for. They're little stuff like humanities and English literature and all different type of little things, little classes. They're like electives in high school, so like chorus and theater and all that different type of stuff. So they're pretty much like an elective in high school, but they call it general education. So I would recommend that you get all those classes out the way first, like before your major classes. So then once you get those out of your way, your freshman and sophomore year, as soon as you hit your junior and senior year, all you're taking is your major classes. And that's going to be fun because those are classes that you're going to school for and what you want to learn about and what you want to do in life. So if you get rid of all those little tiny little classes that you don't really care about early, it'll help you out in the long run. I definitely think that is something that you should do. I also recommend that you do take major classes, but take like little major classes that are like prerequisites to important major classes, if you guys understand what I mean. I'm going to give a little bit more in depth. So this is a JOMC course prerequisite sheet. These are all the courses offered in JOMC, which is Journalism and Mass Communications, if you don't know. Now you know. Journalism and Mass Communications Department at A&T. These are all the classes that they offer. There's 3 different concentrations that go in Journalism and Mass Communications, so that's why it's so many on here. So when you take JOMC, you don't have to take every single class that's in this packet. I promise you don't. But yeah, so there's some classes that are prerequisites to any class that you have to take for your specific major. So a prerequisite is JOMC 102 and JOMC 2020. Those are prerequisites to important classes. So I would recommend that you take your JOMC 102 your first semester and your JOMC 2020 your next semester. So then you get them both out the way. So when it's time to take your next few JOMC classes, you're getting them out the way because a lot of classes require prerequisites. I found one, for example. Okay, so for example, JOMC 255, which is on-air delivery, that's the name of the course, it is required that you take JOMC 2020 before you can take that class. So if you get JOMC 2020 out the way, that's another class that opens up and it allows for you to take. So definitely try and get rid of those prerequisite like major classes, any major, just get rid of those little prereq classes. So you can take those important classes and you won't be blocked up, you know what I mean, for a semester, because that can hold you back as well. Not getting rid of prerequisite classes and now, excuse me. So now when you take those prerequisite classes, then you won't be stuck. Like you could like get messed up and be like, oh, well, I'm supposed to be taking, I'm supposed to be taking JOMC 241, which is media ethics, but I didn't take JOMC 2020 last semester, so now I have to wait a whole semester to take JOMC I have to wait a whole semester to take this class because I have to finish my JOMC 2020. So it's best to get those out the way quickly so then you can just progress and get things done and even try and get yourself out of school early. So that's my first step. So definitely go through, pick the classes that you want to take for the semester before you meet with your advisor. You make your list. So now you got your list of like 12 to 15 credit hours, which is like 5 to 6 classes, whatever you can handle. Once you have your classes listed out, it's time to meet with your advisor. So when you meet with your advisor, you're gonna like talk to them, show them your list of classes that you want to take. They'll tell you yes or no. You know, they'll try and give you a little insight if they can, and they'll just try. Pretty much, it's just a yes or no system. They're just trying to make sure that you're on the right path. And so they'll tell you yes or no to the list that you give them. They might give their own little tweaks to the list that you give them. Then once you guys come together and come up with a cohesive schedule, they'll give you like a pin or like an access code. We get pins here, and they're like called alternate pins, and you have to put that pin in to be able to register. So some schools require you to meet with your advisors, some schools don't require you. It just depends on the school. But if A&T particular, which a lot of you guys are watching for, A&T does require you to meet with your advisor, and you have to get your pin. So you get your pin from your advisor, and that is when you'll be able to register for classes when registration opens. Okay, so before registration opens, this is the process that you have to go through to get your perfect schedule. This process is a necessity. Like, this process is like very important. Like, you have to do this process. I feel like this is the best way for you to be able to get a perfect schedule and not be stuck with like a crazy jacked up schedule. Now I'm gonna let you guys see the screen process, the whole process on the screen recording, and then you guys will come back to me.
Okay, so you guys are going to start by going to NCAT's website and going to their current students tab and going to Aggie Access. From there, you're going to go to the secure area, and you guys are going to put in your put in your user ID and your PIN. You should get that from the school once you're accepted. So once you get into there, go to the students tab, and once you click on that, go to registration. And then once you're in registration, you're going to go ahead and look up your classes and select the term for fall 2017. So now you're going to submit that. And now these are all the different subjects. So now you're going to go to your biology, because that's the first class in your list. And from there, we're just going to see these are all the classes that are available. It's like plenty on the website, but these are just the teachers. On the side, it says like instructor right here. And then here's the time that the class is held. Right next to it is the day. Right behind it is how many spots are left. So from there, we're going to write down what class we want to take. So if you want to start your day at 9:30, you're going to start with Mr. Hahn's class. I don't know who he is. I never took him. But you can start your day at 9:30. And the class will start at 9:30 and end at 10:45. So write down the time that it starts and ends. So after you write that, write down the days that it's offered. So it says TR. The T stands for Tuesday, and the R stands for Thursday. Do not get that mixed up and think it's just a Thursday class, okay? Then from there, you're going to write down the CRN number, which is the classroom number. And you're going to need that just to have some reference of what exactly that specific class, because every class has a specific CRN. So now you're going to write down that CRN number. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and put down how many spots are left in the class. The class says that it has a maximum of 75 students and it's 52 available spots. So from there, now, well, you're not all done. Now, with every biology, you have to have the matching lab to go with it. So since you have to have the matching lab, it's going to take me a little second, and I don't know why I was taking forever, and I forgot myself. But I'm going to realize it in a second. Just give me a second. There I go. I realized it. So now we're looking for the lab. You have to take the same teacher's lab. So you can't take Professor Hahn and then take Professor Goins' lab. You have to take Professor Hahn's lab as well. So now you find his labs. All his labs are on Fridays at 10 o'clock to 11:50, it says. So just write that down. Just write down the time and the and make sure you also write down what day the lab is on. You don't really need to write the CRN because it's 3 different classes. They're all offered at the same time. So like it's just not, you don't have to be specific. You know what I mean? You just have to know what time and day. That's all you really need to know. So after that, that's just a normal class that has that's how you do a class that requires a lab. So that's how you figure out those classes and how you schedule those together. Now we're just going to do a regular normal class that doesn't require a lab or anything like that, and that's going to be your English 100 class. So just go down to the very bottom. It should be a new search tab. Click that, and then go and do the same process again. Go into fall semester, looking for the specific department that your class is in. This class is in the English department, so you go to the English tab. These are all the different classes that are offered. So you go to 100. These are all the different times. So now you just search through and find the time that you want to take the class. So I just went and checked to see what time it was that I took the class. So now we're going to find another Tuesday, Thursday class that is in close proximity to the English class, but give yourself like some walk-in time. So now I'm trying to find another class. It looks like these are all the classes, like all these classes are offered. So now I finally found a class. This class is at 11 o'clock, and it's only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's by Professor Marsh. I don't know who that is either, but it's from 11 o'clock to 12:15. Then you can take that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's what the T is for Tuesday. Remember, the T is for Tuesday and the R is for Thursday. Remember that. Do not forget it. So once you do that, just follow the same process. You're going to write down the date. You're going to write down that classroom number, that CRN. And then you're also going to go ahead and put down how many spots are available, which I actually wrote down wrong. I said 54, but it was really 24. But when I finish out and speed it up, you guys will be able to see I fixed it. So just give it a second, and from there you guys are all good to go. So I showed you guys in a normal speed how to do it, and then I'm gonna speed it up after this to show you guys how just the rest of the process for every single class, how to do it. So I just sped it up a bit, so just pay attention and you will be all good to go.
Okay, so we're back. You guys just finished watching the screen recording of how to look up your classes. So while you guys were watching that, I hope you guys understood everything that was going on. If you guys have any questions about that process, just put it in the comments and I will answer every single question as quickly as possible. But just a little tips and trick. Well, no, I'm going to tell you guys the final steps after that, and then I'll tell you little tips and tricks and stuff. Okay, so the final steps after you've looked up all your classes is to actually register for them. Registration at A&T opens at 8 a.m. I don't know about other schools, you know, it might open at different times, but normally it's at 8 a.m. So 8 a.m. comes, do not wake up at 8 a.m. No. Wake up at least 30 minutes to an hour before registration opens. Get your mind open, get your list out, get your computer ready so you can just click and go, because classes are going to fly. When I tell you classes are going to fly, classes are going to fly, okay? So make sure you guys wake up at least 30 minutes to an hour before registration opens. Get your mind together. And then after that, it's welcome to the Hunger Games. Get your classes, and that's just how it goes for registration. But if you guys do my process and look up your classes and pick your schedule prior to registration and don't try and do it while registration is open, it'll help. I want to give you guys a little bit of tips and things that you should know before I end this video. So my first little tip, when you're looking up those classes, make sure to write down. You saw how I wrote down how many spots are left. Once you've seen all the different spots that are left, you should make a priority list. And that priority list should be classes that you should go for first because they have minimum spots, to the class that you should go for last because they got plenty of spots and you'll be able to get it. It's like perfectly fine. So that's one tip. Then your second tip, my second tip, is to stay away from 8 a.m. classes. You hear this from every college student and you think it's a joke. You're like, oh, I wake up earlier than that for school. I'm gonna wake up. No, you're not. I'm telling you, you're not. Like, only take 8 a.m.s if it's a last resort, if that's the only class that they have, if that's the only teacher you want, and you just have to take an 8 a.m. But if you don't have to take no 8 a.m., don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just telling you, don't do it. So another tip is to try and ask upperclassmen about like what are some good teachers to take for specific courses. So definitely use Twitter. Twitter is a great tool when it comes to school. If you use that hashtag NCAT or hashtag HU or any of that, like it's gonna help you, because when you put hashtag, like I'm just gonna give an example. When I put hashtag NCAT, what are some good teachers to take for so-and-so class? People are under there letting you know. And letting you know, like, this teacher's good, this teacher isn't. And a lot of people at A&T, I know for sure, like to do like threads. If you guys know what threads are, if you're on Twitter, you know what threads are. Pretty much they're like threads of tweets, and they tell you every single teacher that they've ever had for every single, like they tell you every single teacher that they ever had, and they'll tell you if they're a good teacher or not. They'll tell you if they like the class or not. And that's just a good way. Just keep up with that hashtag and try and get to know and talk to upperclassmen before you register for classes, so you know. So definitely do that. You guys can even hit me on my Twitter and my Snapchat. I'm always on those. Ask me as many questions as you need about any teachers, and I will tell you as much as I know. And if I don't know about a specific class, because I did not take a lot of like classes here because I took them at school when I was in high school, I can definitely get you in contact with plenty of people that I know that have taken that class and have a teacher that they like and a teacher that they don't like. And I will get you in contact with people that know if I don't know personally. So hit me, ask me, and I will try my hardest to help you out, specifically for A&T kids. If it's not specifically for A&T, I can't really help you that much, but I can if it's one of the schools that I'm collaborating with, one of the students I'm collaborating with, I will get you in contact with them. So just make sure you find someone that can help you. I'm always here to help anybody that's trying to go to A&T. So just hit me up. And then also ask upperclassmen about textbooks, because some classes, they say, okay, so here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you, this is a little secret that A&T don't be trying to tell nobody, but a teacher did tell me this. The school requires you to tell students to buy the book because they're trying to make money. So the school requires them to tell you to buy the book. But some classes, you do not need that textbook. Some classes, you just don't need it. You really just don't. So always ask upperclassmen if you need a textbook before you spend that $200, $300 on a book that you're not going to touch. And then when you try and resell it, you're not going to even get half of your money back. You know what I mean? So, like, just be on top of your game. And that's why I'm making this video, so you guys can be on top of your game. Because I've been on top of my game with both of my semesters, and guess what? I'm on the dean's list. I have a 3.54 GPA, and that was all because I was on my stuff and I was making sure that I knew what teachers to take, what teachers not to take. I had my schedule already set up in my mind, like I was already together. And so if you follow all the steps that I tell you guys, and you guys really dig deep and try and talk to as many people as possible, especially if A&T kids trying to get in contact with me or get in contact with anybody, any student on that NCAT hashtag, you guys will be in great shape, and you guys will get that perfect schedule, 8 a.m. free, 7 o'clock class free. Like, it'll be a perfect schedule for you. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that it helped you guys so much. I really hope it helped somebody, because this is the type of stuff I love to give you guys, because I just want everyone to graduate on time, if not early. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!